All right, welcome to Clement's Family Farm. Got another good one for you today, a super simple one. We're gonna be doing smoked cheese. Everybody should be doing smoked cheese if you've got a cold smoker. So let's move on to that and I'll talk about cold smoker and then let's get this in the smoker. All right, so today I'm gonna be doing some smoked cheese. I'm doing a product review on this Beeswood, I think it's Beeswood or Bestwood model 250. So I'm gonna go ahead, I needed something to test it on and I thought, you know what, let's do some smoked cheese. So if you're interested in the review on this slicer, I'll leave a little card up here so you guys can check it out. But today we're gonna talk about smoked cheese. Everybody should be doing smoked cheese if you've got a cold smoker. So the difference between a hot smoker and a cold smoker, a hot smoker usually has some sort of a heating element and you could reach temperatures from 100 to 300 degrees or even higher. Cold smokers don't have a heating element other than what's used to create the smoke. So they're typically called a cold smoker. So it's just a small element where your wood chips go on and it just heats up the wood and creates the smoke and doesn't heat up the whole area. It's best to use these in the evening when it's cooler outside. If you got hot days, first thing in the morning, because your weather will determine on how hot it gets in there, because you don't want to get too hot inside. You are going to create a little bit of heat, but there are ways to mitigate that, but I'll show you when we go out to the smoker. So let's talk about the cheeses a little bit. I buy the cheapest block cheese that I can find in the market. Great Value is what we have in our market. It's I think personally it's a good cheese. It's just on the cheaper end, it's not the higher end stuff. But you can take this and make it a gourmet cheese just by putting it in the smoker. It's simple. All you really do, cut the wrapper off, place it on some screen, and throw it in the smoker. Today I'm going to be doing a hard Parmesan. The hard cheese are really nice to do in the smoker because you don't have to worry about the heat so much or getting warm, because these won't slump. They'll stay firm and everything. I also have a Colby Jack here, which is a little bit softer along with the hard, because of the cheddar or the Colby is a little harder than the Jack cheese. So heat range there, you don't want to get too hot because the cheese will slump because it does get a little warm in there. It's not refrigerator temp, so just the atmosphere itself is going to be warm and the cheese are going to slump. And it's best to pull the cheeses right out of the refrigerator and into your smoker. So the next one I'm going to do is just a mild cheddar cheese. So it's a little bit harder than the Colby Jack. It'll hold its form fairly well. And I'll show you how these all form when we get out. So the best thing to do is just cut them out of the package. I'm not going to bore you with all that. But the key thing is these screens. I have wire racks in there for smoking. I've had my Bradley smoker for 10 years. It's a wonderful machine. I probably want to upgrade here soon, but 10 years and I smoke continuously on it. It's a great machine. I'll leave some links below on the updated versions because I don't believe you can get this version anymore. But anyway, these screens, you can go ahead and buy the smoke screens if you want online. Most smoke companies or smoker companies have these screens, but you don't have to. Window screen. You buy the poly window screen. These things are great. I think they're poly coated, but there might be a fiber or some of them are wire. But all you gotta do is get your remnant. I don't recommend using old window screen. I believe you could buy a roll of it, $5 or $6 at your hardware store, and then just make yourself some. fix a couple screens while you're at it. But anyway, just cut you off a couple window screens. This is what's going to help prevent the cheese from wrapping around your wire racks, because it's going to, like I said, slump a little bit and then wrap around that wire rack. It doesn't look as pretty, but you put these screens down, it allows the smoke to come up, and it keeps that form a little better. So anyway, enough of that. Let's go to the smoker. So this Bradley smoker has the biscuit attachment on the side. So this is a smoke generator. It's not what they consider a heating element type of... Our damn cat wants out here. It smells the smoke. But anyway, this biscuit type smoker is what they consider it a cold smoke, because it's just a small element on the bottom. I think I said that before. And every 20 minutes it puts out a new biscuit, and it just smokes it just heats up the biscuit and smokes. So it's not really heating up the whole area. I did say the weather plays part of that. My temperature is about up to 100 degrees right now, which is okay for the cheese, but to compensate for this heat that's inside, we have water, and you could put ice cubes in there. So what I do, I usually freeze bottles of ice like this, and then I'll shove it in there. But I'll give it a little bit more time in here, and I'll adjust my vent control on top. So anyway, it's got some nice beautiful smoke. I decided to do a pork shoulder while I was doing the cheese, doing two things at once. If you look, you can look here, it's just a small element there that's heating up the biscuit, and then once it's done after 20 minutes, it puts the biscuit into cold water, and then a fresh biscuit comes out and starts the whole process over again. So you're always getting fresh wood, fresh smoke on this whole thing, and you're not getting that charcoal flavor that you get with some of these smokers. I really do like this smoker, and all you gotta do is put them on the rack like this, put your screen down, and leave them in there. I'm probably gonna just cold smoke these for about 2 hours. I'm gonna check them, because all you're gonna do is get that smoke around there. And I'm gonna tell you, the flavor, if you taste the cheese today, it's gonna have a little bit of smoke flavor to it. But tomorrow morning, after it's been sitting in the fridge, that smoke flavor is going to be intensified by twofold. So anyway, I'm going to let this smoke, and I'll catch you when we pull it out. Alright, so you last saw me putting the cheese in the smoker. We finished that up after a couple hours of smoking. The weather was a little warm, and it actually got the smoker a little warmer than I wanted to. I did put some ice in there and cool it down a little bit, but the cheese still slumped. I should have taken a picture of that, but it did slump down to about half the height that it was. But no issue there. So I pulled the cheese out. I lined these bread pans with some cellophane and carefully put the cheese back inside, wrapped the cellophane around it, and then I did that with both of them, and then I just stacked them on top of each other and put them in the refrigerator to let them cool. That way it brings it back to the block shape that I really wanted for slicing. So it wasn't a big deal. Just put them in the bread pan, wrap them up, they'll reform, and they're ready to go. So I didn't have to do that with the Parmesan. And the one thing I was surprised, the mild cheddar, it actually slumped before the Colby Jack, the Colby Jack is a little softer. But nevertheless, I just put them in the bread pans, and they got the shape now. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull these out. But the flavor of the cheese is incredible. But I always recommend, as soon as you pull them out of the smoker, get them wrapped up and then put them in the refrigerator and then slice it the next day, or just leave it in there until you're ready to slice it and use it. Because the flavor does intense. And don't be alarmed. The fat that is in the cheese is gonna weep out from the smoking process, because you're actually kind of drying it up a little bit, and it's gonna feel oily and greasy. That's just how it is with the cheese and doing the smoking. So anyway, let's get to slicing this cheese up and giving it a taste. All right, so I'm just gonna unwrap these, pull them out of the bread pans. And you can see they're not perfectly square like they were when I put them in the smoker, but that's okay. We don't care. We're just looking for a good smoked flavor on the cheese. You can see where it kind of folded up there. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it on this paper. Same thing with the cheddar. Kind of see it gets a little weird. I mean, it was pretty soft. And then we've got the good old Parmesan. We did take a taste test of this when it came off the smoker. So you can see a nice smoke ring around it, nice smoke around the outside. It's a beautiful cheese. I'll take a little bit better picture once we get everything sliced up and on the pan. So one of the things I like to keep around are these grease resistant sandwich wraps by EcoCraft. I'll leave a link down below. It just makes cleanup a lot easier, especially when you're doing stuff like this. And then as I'm slicing the cheese, I'll put it on this paper and I can keep them separated. And it doesn't get everything all messy or greasy other than just the paper itself. And it makes it a little bit easier cleanup. We use these papers for everything. Instead of pulling out paper plates, we'll pull out this paper, make a sandwich or whatever, and wrap it up, take it with us. And we're not wasting paper plates. We're just using the EcoCraft sandwich wraps. And then if you want to wrap something up, put it in the microwave. These things work great. So anyway, yeah, I'll get on to slicing this up and I'll show you the end result of slicing. All right, everything's all sliced up, and there you have it. Beautiful smoked cheese. So pretty simple. Take a couple blocks of cheese, throw it in the smoker, cold smoker, for about 3 hours, and then pull it out, chill it, and then the next day, give it a slice, and you've got some nice smoked cheese. I can tell you right now, this is some of the best stuff you'll ever do, because my family keeps coming over and stealing from my pile here. So it's good. So anyway, that wraps up the smoked cheese. I'll leave links down below of any of my equipment that I'm using, my slicer. The one thing I didn't mention was the type of biscuits I used. I used pecan. I like the lighter flavors for any of my smoking, like pecan. Hickory's okay if you really want that strong hickory, but it's up to you guys, whatever you want to use for a smoke. But I do kind of like the applewood and the pecan for doing smoked cheeses and most of my smoked meat and bacon. Anyway, I'll leave links down below. Alright, so if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you hit the notification bell, you'll get the upcoming videos as they come out. So like always, we'll see you guys on the next video.